You are buying your own destruction. Every click, every purchase, every new object that comes through your door is another chain that ties you to a life you didn't really choose. And the worst part is that you think you're choosing, that you're free when you decide which sneaker brand to buy or which phone model to have. But you're not free. You're a slave disguised as a consumer. They sold you the idea that more things equal more happiness, that success is measured by what you own, that your worth as a person is directly related to your ability to buy. And you swallowed it whole. You look around and see an apartment full of things you bought because they told you that you needed them. Objects you used once and now collect dust, clothes you never wear, devices that became obsolete before you even finished paying for them. Have you ever asked yourself who benefits from all this? Because it's not you. You work more hours to pay for things you don't need. You go into debt to maintain a lifestyle that doesn't make you happy. You sacrifice your time and your energy chasing a version of success that was designed by others to keep you trapped in the wheel. And the wheel keeps turning, and you keep running, believing that the next purchase, the next object, the next upgrade will give you that feeling of fulfillment you are so desperately seeking. But it never comes. The trap is so well designed that you don't even see it. Since you were born, you've been bombarded with messages telling you that you are not enough as you are. You need this product to be more attractive, this car to be respected, this house to prove that you made it, this brand to belong. And so you grow up with an internal void that you try to fill with external things. But things don't fill voids. They only disguise them temporarily. You buy something new and feel that hit of dopamine, that brief euphoria of novelty, but it lasts hours, maybe days, and then you go back to the same state of dissatisfaction. And instead of questioning the system, you look for the next purchase. It's a perfect cycle, designed to keep you hungry, to ensure you're never satisfied, because a satisfied consumer is a consumer who stops buying. And that's bad for business. So they keep you in a perpetual state of desire, always chasing the next thing they promise will make you whole. Seneca saw it 2,000 years ago. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. But you keep wanting more because they taught you that to desire is to live, when in reality, uncontrolled desire is the fastest way to die while still alive. Look at your life right now. How many hours do you work per week? And of those hours, how many are to pay for things you truly need? And how many are to pay for the lifestyle you think you must have? Think about it carefully. That bigger apartment you barely use because you're working all the time to pay for it. That car that put you in debt for 5 years and only gives you problems. Those brand name clothes you bought to impress people you don't really care about. Those subscriptions you don't even use, but that still get debited from your account every month. All of that is costing you your life, literally. Every hour you work to pay for unnecessary things is an hour you're not living, not being with the people you love, not doing what truly matters to you. And you accept it because they told you that this is how adult life works. You work, you buy, you get into debt, you repeat. But that's not life. It's survival disguised as success. It's modern slavery with an employment contract and a credit card. The uncomfortable truth is that you don't need even half of what you have. You could live with a fraction of your current possessions and be just as functional, probably more. But the idea of simplifying terrifies you because it would mean admitting that everything you've been chasing was an illusion. It would mean facing the fact that you've been living for others, that you've allowed advertising, social media, and social pressure to dictate how you should live. And that hurts. It hurts to realize that the apartment that costs you half your salary doesn't make you happier than a simple room. It hurts to admit that the luxury car doesn't give you more freedom than basic transportation that works. It hurts to recognize that all those emotional purchases didn't fill any void. They only created more anxiety. Because now you have to maintain all that, take care of it, worry about it, work more to replace it when it breaks or becomes obsolete. You became a slave to your possessions, when possessions were supposed to serve you. Here comes what is really going to shake you. The freest people you will ever meet are the ones who have the least. I'm not talking about forced poverty. I'm talking about chosen simplicity. I'm talking about people who consciously decided to live with less because they understood something fundamental that you still don't grasp. Everything you own owns you back. Every object in your life requires your attention, your energy, your money. You have to buy it, maintain it, clean it, repair it, replace it, worry about it. And the more you have, the more fragmented your attention becomes. You live in a constant state of distraction, jumping from one thing to another, unable to truly focus on anything because you're too busy managing your collection of unnecessary objects. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Epictetus was a slave who became one of the freest philosophers in history. And do you know what he owned? Almost nothing. He lived with the essentials, and that simplicity gave him something money can't buy: mental freedom. He didn't have to worry about impressing anyone, about keeping up appearances, about protecting his possessions. He could focus completely on what truly mattered: thought, virtue, the examined life. You have 100 times more things than he did, and 100 times less freedom. Simplicity is not deprivation, it is liberation. But they have programmed you to see simplicity as failure, as if having less meant you weren't successful enough. And there lies the biggest trap of all. The system sold you a definition of success that conveniently requires you to keep consuming until you die. Bigger house, newer car, more exotic vacations, more expensive clothes, more advanced technology. It never ends because it's not designed to end. It's designed to keep you running on the wheel, generating value for others while you exhaust yourself chasing a carrot that's always one step ahead. And the cruelest thing is that when you finally get something you were chasing, the satisfaction lasts less than the time it took you to get it. That new house that cost you years of work and stress excited you for a few weeks. Then it became your new normal. And now you're already thinking about what else you need to feel complete. The mistake is thinking that something external can complete you, when the incompleteness lies in believing you need to be completed. Think about this seriously. When was the last time you were truly happy? And when you think about it, I'd bet anything it wasn't when you bought something. It was a simple moment, probably with someone you love, probably doing something that didn't cost any money. A deep conversation, a shared laugh, a moment of peace watching the sunset, a simple meal with friends. The best moments of your life don't appear in your purchase history. But you keep looking for happiness in stores, in catalogs, on screens that show you a perfect life full of perfect objects. And every time you buy based on that illusion, you move a little further away from real life. Because real life is simple, it's organic, it's relational. It doesn't need filters or updates or premium versions. It simply is. And you're missing it because you're too busy chasing the commercial version of what you think your life should be. Modern consumerism is a religion, and you're a devoted believer. It has its temples, shopping malls. It has its rituals, sales, Black Friday, Christmas shopping. It has its prophets, influencers, celebrities, ads that tell you how you should live. And it has its promise of salvation. If you buy the right thing, if you have the right stuff, if you look the right way, then you will be happy. Then you will be successful. Then your life will have meaning. It's a lie, but it's a lie so often repeated, so omnipresent, so well produced, that most people accept it without question. You kneel at the altar of consumption and pray with your credit card, hoping for redemption that never comes. And when it doesn't come, instead of questioning the religion, you blame yourself. You think you need to buy more, work more, have more. The problem is never the system. It's always you, not doing enough. That's the genius of the system. It has you so convinced of your own inadequacy that you never question whether maybe the problem isn't you, but the entire game you're playing. Here's what you urgently need to understand. Your time is finite, your energy is finite, your life is finite. And every hour you dedicate to working to buy things you don't need is an hour you're stealing from your real life. You can't get that time back. There is no refund, no return. When you reach the end of your life, and believe me, that will come much faster than you think, you're not going to wish you had worked more hours. You're not going to wish you had bought more things. You're not going to wish you had had a more expensive car or a bigger house. You're going to wish you had lived more, loved more, experienced more, been more present. But by then it will already be too late. The time you wasted chasing objects will not come back. The relationships you neglected because you were too busy working will not magically repair themselves. The experiences you postponed because you didn't have time or money will not happen. And you will realize, too late, that you lived the life others designed for you instead of the life you wanted to live. That is the real tragedy. It's not dying. It's reaching the end and realizing that you never truly lived. Simplicity is radical in a world that constantly screams at you that you need more. Choosing to live with less is an act of rebellion. It's telling the system you're not playing its game. And the system hates that. That's why they reduce simplicity to something negative, something only failures or hippies or people who couldn't achieve more do. They condition you to see accumulation as a virtue and minimalism as a defect. But the reality is the opposite. Accumulating is easy. Anyone can buy more things if they're willing to go into debt. The hard part is letting go, consciously choosing what deserves your energy and what doesn't, having the courage to live differently when everyone around you is in the rat race. Thoreau went to live at Walden because he understood that most people live lives of quiet desperation, working in jobs they hate to buy things they don't need, and impress people they don't care about. That was more than 150 years ago, and the situation hasn't improved, it's gotten worse. Now the chains are more sophisticated, more invisible, but they're still chains. Do you want to know the real secret of freedom? It's not in having more, it's in needing less. When you reduce your needs, you reduce your dependence on the system. When you don't need to impress anyone, you don't need to spend money on appearances. When you don't need the latest model of everything, you don't need to work 60 hours a week. When you don't need a huge house, you don't need a 30-year mortgage that enslaves you. Suddenly you have options, you have mobility, you have time. And time is the only thing you truly have. Everything else is borrowed, temporary, illusory. Your car will eventually break down, your house will eventually fall apart, your clothes will eventually wear out. But the time you spent chasing those things will never come back. Every day you live to accumulate is a day you don't live to experience. And life is measured in experiences, not possessions. No one on their deathbed thinks about their shopping list. They think about moments, about people, about laughter, about adventures. Everything else is noise. So make a decision right now. You can keep being part of the herd. consuming what they tell you to consume, living how they tell you to live, chasing goals others put in front of you. Or you can wake up, see the game for what it is, and choose something different. Brutally simplify your life. Get rid of everything you don't need, everything that doesn't give you real joy, everything you own just because you're supposed to have it. Free yourself from debts, from subscriptions, from obligations you accepted without thinking. And when you've cleared out all the noise, ask yourself what you really want from this life. Not what you should want, not what others expect you to want, but what you, deep down, truly value. And then build your life around that, without asking for permission, without seeking approval, without caring what others think. Because your life is yours, not theirs. And you only have one. Stop wasting it buying crap you don't need with money you don't have to impress people you don't care about. Live simple, live intentionally, live free. And when I say simple, I don't mean a boring or mediocre life. I mean a life where everything you own has a purpose, where every hour you work has meaning, where every decision you make is aligned with what you truly value. That is the difference between existing and living. Most people exist, going from one day to the next, accumulating things, fulfilling obligations, following the script handed to them without reading it. But to live, truly live, requires awareness. It requires that you stop and question absolutely everything you do. Why do I have this job? Why do I live in this place? Why do I buy these things? Why do I follow these patterns? And most people don't ask themselves these questions because the answers terrify them. Because if you start questioning, you'll realize that a large part of your life is built on others' expectations, on unexamined fears, on decisions you made years ago and still drag along out of inertia. The modern world is an expert at keeping you distracted. It bombards you with infinite options, constant entertainment, relentless information, all designed so that you never have a moment of real silence. Because in silence is where dangerous questions appear. In silence is where you realize that you're not happy, that you're living the wrong life, that you've been running in the wrong direction all this time. That's why the system needs to keep you busy, needs to fill your head with noise, notifications, things to do, places to be, products to buy. Because a human being in silence, with time to think, is a dangerous human being. It's a human being who starts to see the chains. And when you see the chains, you can start breaking them. But you have to be willing to sit in that uncomfortable silence to face the truths you've been avoiding. And it's not easy. It's easier to open the app, buy something new, plan the next acquisition. It's easier to keep yourself in perpetual motion than to stop and ask yourself if you're going somewhere you actually want to go. The trap of consumerism is not just economic, it's psychological. It turns you into someone who always looks outward for solutions. Something goes wrong in your life, and your first instinct is to buy something to fix it. You feel bad, you buy new clothes. You feel empty, you buy a new device. You feel inadequate, you buy a new car. But none of those things fix the real problem. They only mask it temporarily. Because the problem isn't outside, it's inside. It's a problem of meaning, of purpose, of connection. And those things are not bought, they are built. They are built with time, with attention, with real relationships, with inner work. But that work is hard, it's uncomfortable, it doesn't give instant results. So you avoid it, you go shopping instead. And the cycle continues. You buy, you feel good for a moment, you feel bad again, you buy again. It's addiction disguised as a lifestyle. And like any addiction, you need more and more to get the same effect. The purchase that excited you a year ago does nothing for you now. You need something bigger, more expensive, more impressive. And so you keep raising the stakes, chasing a high that lasts less and less. Look at the people you truly admire, not manufactured celebrities, but people who have really done something meaningful with their lives. What do they have in common? Most of them live relatively simply, not because they can't afford more, but because they understand that possessions are a distraction from what really matters. Einstein wore the same clothes every day because he didn't want to waste mental energy deciding what to wear. Steve Jobs did the same. It wasn't a fashion statement, it was an optimization of attention. They understood that every trivial decision you make consumes mental resources that you could use for more important things. But you spend hours every week thinking about what to buy, comparing options, reading reviews, looking for deals. And all that time and mental energy could be dedicated to creating something, learning something, building something meaningful. Instead, you waste it at the altar of consumption. And the world applauds you for it, calls you a good consumer, an engine of the economy. But you're a cog in a machine that's grinding you down. Real freedom is scary because it comes with responsibility. When you live simply, when you reduce your needs, suddenly you don't have excuses. You can't blame your boss, your mortgage, your debts. If your life is simple, if your expenses are low, then you have options. You can change jobs if you don't like it. You can move somewhere else if you want. You can take risks because you don't have so much to lose. And that is terrifying for most people, because it means you have to make real decisions about your life. You can't hide behind your financial obligations. You can't say you'd like to do something else, but you need the money. Because if you live with little, you don't need that much money. Suddenly the responsibility for your life falls completely on you. And most people prefer to be comfortable prisoners than uncomfortable free people. They prefer to have the golden chains of a good salary and many possessions, because those chains give them an excuse not to pursue what they really want. It's safer, more predictable, more socially accepted. But it's a slow death of the spirit. Here is the question you should ask yourself every day. Am I living my life? Or am I living the life that was sold to me? Because there is a massive difference between the two. The life that was sold to you requires you to work 40, 50, 60 years at a job you probably aren't passionate about, to pay for things you probably don't need, to maintain a lifestyle you probably didn't consciously choose. And at the end of all that, if you're lucky, you'll have a few years of retirement where you can finally do what you want, except by then you'll be too tired, too old, too used to routine to do anything radically different. That's the scam. They sell you the idea that you have to postpone life until retirement, that you have to suffer now to enjoy later. But later never arrives the way you imagine. And in the meantime, the best years of your life, the years of energy, health, and possibility, you spend locked in an office paying for things you don't even use. It's insane when you look at it from the outside. But from the inside, when you're in the middle of it, it seems completely normal because everyone around you is doing the same thing. Social pressure is real and powerful. When you start living differently, when you start simplifying, you're going to get criticism. People are going to question your decisions. They're going to ask why you don't want a better car, a bigger house, brand name clothes. And they don't do it because they care about your well-being. They do it because your way of living calls theirs into question. If you can be happy with less, what does that say about them? Who need more? Your simplicity is a mirror that reflects their excess, and they don't like what they see. That's why they'll try to pull you back, convince you that you're making a mistake, that you're depriving yourself of something. But what they're really telling you is to stay in the same prison as them, because if you escape, then they have to face the fact that they could escape too, but don't. Your choices take away their excuses, and that makes them uncomfortable. So they will try to make you uncomfortable. They'll label you as weird, as an extreme minimalist, as someone who doesn't understand how the real world works. But you know the truth. It's you who finally understood how the game really works. The game is rigged from the start. They educate you in a system that prepares you to be an obedient employee, not an independent thinker. They teach you to follow instructions, to memorize information, to do what you're told. They don't teach you to question, to create, to live with purpose. And when you leave that system, they plug you directly into the labor market, where you'll spend decades generating value for others while receiving a fraction of what you produce. And with that money, they encourage you to buy, keeping you in a perpetual state of need so that you never have enough savings to become independent. It's brilliant from the system's perspective. It keeps people working, consuming, indebted, dependent. And most people never question whether there's another way to live because they were never taught to question anything. They were taught to accept, to adapt, to conform. And conforming is dressed up with nice words like being realistic, being mature, being responsible. And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. But conforming is giving up. It's accepting that your life is a commodity, that your time is a product you sell to the highest bidder, and that your success is measured by your ability to buy crap you don't need. The alternative exists, but it requires courage. It requires that you be willing to disappoint your family, who expect you to follow the traditional path. It requires that you be willing to be judged by friends who don't understand why you don't want the same things they do. It requires that you be willing to live with the discomfort of being different in a world that rewards conformity. But on the other side of that discomfort is real freedom. The freedom to wake up every morning and decide how you want to spend your day. The freedom of not being tied to a 30-year mortgage. The freedom of not having to ask permission to take a vacation. The freedom to pursue what you're passionate about without worrying whether it pays enough to sustain your inflated lifestyle. That freedom is possible, but only if you're willing to let go of everything you were told you should want. And that's the real challenge. It's not hard to live with less from a practical standpoint. It's hard to live with less from a psychological standpoint. You have to deconstruct decades of conditioning. You have to unlearn everything you were taught about what constitutes a successful life. And you have to be willing to walk alone for a while because most people won't follow you. But walking alone is better than walking with a crowd toward a cliff. And that's exactly where most people are headed. Toward a future where they worked all their lives, accumulated mountains of things, and in the end realize they traded their time for objects that mean nothing. Don't be one of them. Make the decision now, today, in this moment, to live differently. Radically simplify your life. Ask yourself what is essential and eliminate everything else. And when you've eliminated the noise, when you've cleared the excess, when you've freed your time and energy from the claws of consumerism, then you can start building the life you truly want. A life based on experiences, not possessions. A life based on relationships, not transactions. A life based on meaning, not status. That life is available to you right now. You don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You don't need more than what you already have. You only need the courage to let go of what you don't need and embrace what truly matters. The rest is just noise designed to keep you asleep. Wake up.